Good morning, Western New York. And let me tell you this camera does not do the sunrise justice. Again, this camera is easily 8 years old. Talk about going good. Now, you're going to be hearing 3 sounds. Well, 4 if you include my voice. There's some traffic, because you got a road nearby. Another sound you hear, up in this tree somewhere behind me, is birds. But the 4th, well, that would be the creek, you know. It's about 100 yards or so away, and that's nice. And this is a maple tree. But more importantly, this maple tree was planted by my grandfather over 40 years ago. And right now you're hearing Paris. Hey Paris, say hello. And back to this maple tree. Well, I'm gonna need to prune this tree soon. Specifically, gonna have to cut off this limb right here. Reason is, it's interfering with the wires. Real trick is convincing Mother to do that. But she knows it needs its haircut. And now let's take a quick look at my blueberries, because I'm going to be doing a pruning video on these very soon. You see, these branches are broken from the winter, and I got a few more on a couple of these bushes, you know. That's inevitable. It does happen. You know, I mean, some of them are seriously damaged than others. You know, but you know, you do a little bit of pruning, you can set them to grow up in the direction you want them to grow. That being said, there's this one right under here. It's pointed in a direction I don't want. So that one's a branch off the glaze right here. Well, one of them glazes, you know. Well, like I said, I'm gonna be trimming off a few broken branches because, you know, they can carry diseases and whatnot if you don't cut them off. Good news is, those broken branches, great way to propagate your plants. What you can do is wrap them in a bit of newspaper, from what I've heard. I've never tried it myself. You know, wrap them in a bit of damp newspaper, especially a good long one, you know, like this one, or even this one. You know, they're good 6-12 inches. You can plant them in the ground. At some point in like a few months, you know, you soak them in have them in a in a damp newspaper for a few months. You know, it's a rooting hormone. Don't necessarily need rooting hormone, but it helps. And let's take a look at these lilacs. Previous time to put these in the ground, about 8 years ago, roughly. Although I'll be honest with you, I'm going to need to do a couple of things. 1, I'm going to need to prune these things, and 2, I'm going to need to transplant them. Because the spot where they're at is not good anymore. Let's see here. I don't really pay attention to the flowers on these, but I believe that they are like one's a white, one's a pink, and the other one's like a pale purple. I'm not quite sure. My mother would know a little bit more about that. And this is a vegetable garden. A previous tenant built this, put the dirt in. Of course, we're talking about the tenant who had the goats, from which I got a generous supply of goat manure. And well, let's just say this thing's going to need to be dug out. The last tenant that used this, well, they had to move due to, well, the 1001 issues that break a camel's back, you know. You know, a bunch of little issues that individually you'd be fine with, but altogether added up to a whole lot of trouble. And well, let's just say, gonna need to dig this all up, toss it over, well, probably by my compost pile, where all the goat manure used to be. And, well, probably build a proper garden someplace else. Now, yesterday I did a little bit of shopping, you know. This amounts to about 600 pounds worth of dirt and compost. These two down here and these two, I got them from one place. They were having a half off sale for some of their dirt. Got those for $60. These right here, got them from a third store I had a card for. I had a $30 card, so I got like $45 worth of stuff for, you know, about 15 bucks. Now the rest of these, well, I'll be honest with you, the place where I was at, you know, they were on sale, and I decided I was going to, you know, grab 6 of the red, 6 of the yellow, and 6 of the green. And I was expecting to pay about 70 bucks. Turns out it was even cheaper than that. I only paid 50 bucks, and you're looking at, and mind you, just these, the reds and yellows all together would normally cost you about $200. So when you think about it, $70 price would have been the savings. But then again, $50, that's quite a bit of a savings. Big time. Yeah. Now, like I said, I'm going to be pruning those those blueberries, because, well, they got some winter damage, you know. And you can't have broken branches in your bushes, because that's a way to invite disease and whatnot. And quite frankly, if you got sick plants, you're going to have a problem producing fruit. Although with those branches as they are, oh man, I always thought that was broken. That wouldn't be too good for me, you know. Though I wouldn't be too surprised if some of them are broken, you know. It does happen. I mean, these are my blackberries and black raspberries, some of them anyways. Well, basically, blackberries, black raspberries, and of course in here I plan to put strawberries. You know, you get in contact with your local nurseries, they will tell you what they got and what they don't have most of the time. Previous tenant had goats, I've mentioned this before, and well, let's just say the said goats had kids. And those kids, they'd escape a fence that was up here. And they try to eat my red raspberries, you know, and you know how annoying that can get. Well, originally I was going to put a whole bunch of wilds in here. The sacrificial lamb, as it were. You know, let them have the wilds. Well, still put in, well, eventually the the goats got sold and the tenant moved. And now, well, I still got a couple of these wild. I put these wilds in here over the summer, you know, a few of them. Because, well, you never know, they might taste good. And I kind of hope that was sawdust right there or something. Well, I'll find out later on. And, well, you know, I got some, and, you know, what I've been doing is quite a bit of tip rooting with these blackberries and black raspberries. Basically, if you don't know what tip rooting is, there's a number of excellent videos out there that show you how it's done. But general idea is you find the tip of your plant, you bury it under the ground a couple of inches, and the idea is that somewhere down here you're going to have roots, and eventually you can cut that off and you got a whole new plant. It's the general idea behind these, and some of these ones I'm going to, well, that snow's melting real nicely. I'm going to have to show, hopefully I'll have something to show you. Well, my meekers are doing pretty good, I guess. I'll have to show you soon. Here's more of my blackberries. Yeah, I like it. Well, this is at Home Depot's doing pretty good. This had the name, what was on the tag of this one was C-O-H-O, or was it C-O-M-O? I'm not quite sure, but, you know, I don't know if that was like the name, actual name of it or what, but, you know. And this one here is the raspberry shortcake. Supposed to be thornless, you know. Well, I'll find out. And is that branch broken? Well, I better be careful. I don't want to break any of Home Depot's. More than already has been busted. Okay, not broken. They're still good. I mean, I'm kind of surprised. And this here's the Polono. And I'll be honest with you, I am surprised, you know. They failed up pretty well. Oh. Here's another example of a tip-rooted plant. Okay, it's coming from this one, and I'd have to double check, but I think this one's the Bristol, or actually this one might be the Jewel. I'll figure that one out, because I know one of these has a tag that says it's a Jewel. These are my fall golds. There's more out by the front of the barn, and right about here I got some seeds from some blackberries. I'll figure out and if they made it or not. And right in here I got kind of covered, well, here's one of them, you know, but right in here kind of covered by snow, by hay and snow is some more. You know, here's a, you know, I'll have to remove some of this hay, you know, but overall pretty good. Now those lilacs I talked to you about in the beginning of this film, I'm actually going to have to put them in here, you know. Better sunlight here as opposed to being just behind the back of an RV thing. And finger's getting a little cold out here. Probably from lack of movement and that sort of stuff. But anyways, I'm gonna be putting some lilacs in here, those lilacs in here, and probably buy some more and put them in here. You know how that works. Of course, here's my reds. My one blackberry. As well as the black raspberry right next to it. And there's that black raspberry. Here's another blackberry. And of course a whole lot of the reds. And here's the yellows. This is supposed to be a clematis. Some of my roses, they look okay. You know, probably should do a little bit better, you know, once it gets actually warm. And I've mentioned this, but I'm going to mention it again. But I'm planning to put some kiwi on these posts. Arctic/hardy, because like I've mentioned, this is Western New York. And I got clematis in here, as well as grapes, wild one, Niagara, Concord, Mars, Catawba, and of course, like I said, a bunch of chrysanthemums or mums, gooseberries, plants. I got 2 bushes and a whole bunch of sticks are trying to tip root. Well, not tip root, trying to root through like either softwood or some hardwood or however that works, cuttings, you know. And I got red currants, 3 of them. Although this one here is a little more, although this one here is a 4th one, which is just a bunch of sticks. I'm trying to grow from cuttings. And this one, well, did show some, but well, we'll figure that one out, you know. And some more of my roses, you know. I got these from cuttings, you know. Similar to like I mentioned before with the blueberries, you know, you cut off like 6-8 inch lengths. You scrape the bottom a little bit. Put on some rooting hormone if need be, and then put it in a pot of soil and wait a couple of months, and you find out if you got something or if you just got a dead stick. Well, like I said, gonna need a prune. Well, I'll see you in the future, and hopefully I'll show you something spectacular. And just look at that sunrise. It's beautiful, ain't it? Well, if you like this, comment, subscribe, like this, all that other good stuff. Okay, bye.